Elyon, mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShavrit, Malachei Elyon, mi melech malchei hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shuvchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShavrit, Malachei Elyon, mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
It's our great pleasure and welcome the Washko family to the Bima as they light our Shabbat candles 120. Penny did a great job.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
For those who are able, we rise together for Kiddush 123.
Baruch atah Eloheinu Borei Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'aratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron, lema'aseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'charta, v'tanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
Please be seated. We read together the top of page 127. And please join me. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if we're a hoard of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand and wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act and care nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, and day of peace. We turn to page 138, L'Chadodi.
L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zachu b'dibur echad hishmi'anu-El hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Shemo tiferet v'litila L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nechakim mechor ha'baracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tikla L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nechabela Hitoreri kiva orech humi uri shir daberi Kavod Adonai Allah yiknigla L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela.
For those who are able, we rise together to greet Shabbat HaMelka.
Boi v'shalom al teret bala Gam besimcha uvetzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela.
The bottom page 145 we read together. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. We stay right here, 144, our Chetzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash me'raba Be'amad yivrach yiruteh v'yamlik malchuteh B'chayechon uv'yomechon Uv'chaye dechot bet Yisrael Bagala uv'izman kariv Ve'imeru יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We rise together, 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yana lai lai lai, 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 yana lai lai lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yada lai lai lai, 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 yada lai lai lai.
Please be seated. We continue with Ma'ariv Aravim, the top of page 148.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvit vuna meshana itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerateam barakia kirtsono, borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzavaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'Ma'ariv Aravim.
We read together at the bottom of page 150. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we'll reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Vaed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלבתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם על כל מצוותי יקם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We turn to the top of page 157 as we read together 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the windway to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our song of freedom, our Micha Mocha 158.
Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha nerdar ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot, O sefele, Nora tehilot hosefele Malachutecha ra'u vanecha Bokei hayam livnei Moshe Zeli, Zeli Anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed V'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov Uga'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
We continue the top of page 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable, without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru 162.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Et ha-Shabbat Lasot Et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam Berit olam Berit olam Beni uvein bnei Yisrael Oti leolam Beni uvein bnei Yisrael Oti leolam Ki sheshet yamim vas Adonai עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש.
The middle of page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched field, nor bend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. For those who are able, we rise together for Tefillah 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue the top of page 173 together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with our Ritzei on the next page.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatom be'ahava tekabel u'tehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha El Charov Lecho Korah B'nei El Avadecha V'cha לפנינו, שבו רוחך עלינו, ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים, ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו Let's
179 together. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make a temperate reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Eternal One, blesses our people with peace. We'll take a few moments for silent prayer.
Ratzon imrefi, Yeyor ratzon imrefi, Vegyon libi levanecha, Adonai zuri vegoali. Oh, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Oh, say shalom bimroma, oh ya, say shalom aleinu, ve'aku Yisrael, ve'imeru, Amen.
At this moment in our service, we think of those in our community, those especially who are in need of healing of body or spirit. We think of Linda Baker, Sophia Barry, Margaret Bell, Barbara Keynes, Marit Cohen, Richard Epstein, Joel Kahn, Mindy Kahn, Arsen Kaliloff, Cindy Land, Marilyn Leeds, Jeffrey Lemberger, Richard Magnati, Michal Mizerowitz, Paul Mosteller, Stephen Muss, Ron Ostreicher, Malka Bat Rachel, Nathan Ruha, Kathy Shankman, Robert Shankman, Jerry Sklar, Mike Staff, Nathan Thompson, Alan Unger, and Kimora Womack. For those who are with us tonight, if you're thinking of a loved one, a friend, someone who means so special to you, and you wish to share that name out loud, we invite you to either by rising or when my eyes meet yours. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, or Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, 371.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe berach imotenu Mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Three weeks ago, when we found out about the 6 murdered in the tunnels, the majority of Israeli society had signs that said, Slicha, I'm sorry. But I wondered about the use of Slicha. When you learn modern Hebrew, Slicha, what I understand the translation to be, I know Elizabeth is here, but it's more of a form of excuse me. Someone's in your way, it's politely ask them to step aside. Versus when you do something wrong, ani mitzta'er, it's a reflexive verb, meaning you're taking ownership over it. I'm sorry. Hebrew, just like German, languages with a rich translation. And I wondered why in collective Israeli society, post-October 7th, Anachnu mitztarim, we are sorry, or slicha. And then I remembered on Yom Kippur, when we do the long vidui, it's salachnu, it's biblical origins for our transgressions. So the word slicha has an ancient and theological understanding of a collective guilt. As we are in the middle of Elul, this month of introspection, I wonder about the notion of seeking forgiveness. Can a society say that I'm sorry to the 6, to the 1200? And if the society says they're sorry, who is the one to forgive? Who has the power to forgive? This conversation happened post-Holocaust when certain survivors tried to find more meaning in your life, and they forgave the Nazis for what happened, and that offended other Holocaust survivors. It's a complicated issue, but ordinary citizenry, they can't apologize for something that's nearly impossible to forgive. And that's something we're going to have to wrestle with as we welcome Yom Kippur in just a few weeks. And that's the collective. But then I think about the personal. The greatest thing that we could ever do is first is to apologize, and then second is to forgive someone. And we know by data, we know by science, when you seek forgiveness and there's healing, it's physically good for you. But then on the other hand, there are certain crimes and certain transgressions that are unforgivable. It's only the victim of such horrific crimes, they're the ones that decide if they will forgive whomever. But we're supposed to try to forgive 3 times. And if we genuinely apologize 3 times without the aval, without the but, then on the 4th time, the person who was wronged is therefore committing a transgression, because you're not supposed to bear a grudge against someone else. And therefore, one is absolved from said sin, and then they can go before God and kol nidre and forgive. It's almost like a logic problem we would find on the LSATs. But again, I wrestle with the notion of forgiveness. Kitavo in our Torah portion. Again, these are a series of final homilies that Moses is giving to the people of Israel because he is desperately worried that they still do not get it. That when they enter into Eretz Yisrael, the mystical name for Israel, he wants them to be spiritually aware of their responsibility to live a meaningful Jewish life in this sacred land. And that's why it's a constant reminder of the things you do and the things that you don't do. And he gets deep into theology. If you do this and you do this and succeed, you will be blessed. But on the other hand, if you do things wrong, if you engage in idolatry, then you will be cursed. A common theme throughout ancient Near Eastern texts. But the text still challenges me. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses our teacher, made one grave mistake in his life. The waters of Meribah, he kicked the rock, and he attributed the power of water coming from the rock mistakenly from himself, from his anger, and he forgot to give credit to God. And therefore, the punishment that he received was that he once freed the Israelites out of Egypt, but his punishment would be that he would not enter into the land of Israel. But here's Moshe Rabbeinu. When the Israelites have the greatest calamity, which we're still paying the price for, the worship of the golden calf, God wanted nothing to do with the people of Israel. And Moses said to God, if you reject these people, then take me out of your book, because I don't want to be part of it. Sticking up for the Israelites when they engaged in something wrong. And throughout the Torah, Moses pleads with God in a genuine apology for him to live and enter into Eretz Yisrael. And the answer is always no. Teases him. He can see it, but he can't feel it. And here's someone who engaged in the teshuvah process of apologizing numerous times. If he engaged in 3 genuine apologies, am I allowed to say that then God held a grudge against Moses? Judaism allows us to make such a question. But if we're supposed to engage in this reflective and introspective process, how do we seek to repair a relationship if God did not forgive Moses? Or maybe he did. Because when we get to 26:16, this day Adonai your God commands you to perform these decrees and statutes, and you shall observe them and perform them, with all your heart, levavacha, in your heart, meaning intentionality, and with your nafshacha and your soul. Again, doing these commandments inside of our neshamas. You have distinguished Adonai today to be God for you, and here we go. And to walk in God's ways. Lalechet. And again, I'm using Hebrew, and Elizabeth's right here. It means to go. There's no other way that we can understand the meaning. It means you're going somewhere from point A to B, in this case on foot. Who else walked with God? Who remembers? Noah. How was he described? As a righteous man, and no one in his generations. But now we're at the book of Deuteronomy. And now all the people of Israel get to walk with God. So that implies something. That if Noah was the only person to walk with God because he was a righteous person, now all of the Israelites, with all of their problems, all of their transgressions, they now get to walk with God. And Rashi takes us home for us. Moses now concluding the second commandment, the second time, the second repetition, and the explanation that God had instructed him to teach as his life drew to a near end. Moses raised his people to observe them with all their hearts and soul, and always think that the Torah as fresh and exciting as if it had been given today, to teach us that God and the people Israel are inseparable. Sometimes forgiveness doesn't mean that we did something wrong, we apologize, and now we get it. Lillian was mean to her sister Maisie to go on the gymnastics bar and pushed her. We took the bar down and she cried and she said, sorry, we didn't put the bar up. We wouldn't be good parents. We had to teach her it had to go for at least 12 hours. But in this case, I think the forgiveness, the response to the forgiveness is more powerful. That when Israel goes off into this adventure, the Israelites go off into this adventure, God's going to walk with them. And Moses did apologize numerous times, and Moses himself realized that, okay, I'm not going to go in. But I now, with my legacy and what I leave behind, that the Israelites will understand the Torah as the greatest gift that we ever received, and knowing that through trials and tribulations, that God will walk with God's people regardless of our shortcomings. When Rosh Hashanah comes, we're going to be going through a major theological crisis that we haven't seen in 85 years. And we're going to be talking about where was God hiding? But if there's one thing that I've learned from the past year, it's twofold. that Judaism gives us ways to improve our lives through the power of teshuvah. And second, never take Judaism for granted. And I'll speak more about this on Yom Kippur Day. Every day, as Rashi taught us, the Torah is going to be fresh and exciting. So every time we see on the news, nearly every day, something bad has happened to our people, whether in Israel, in the streets of New York, or some college campus, they don't get to take away that we walk with God. They don't get to take away our Torah. They don't get to take away our hearts. And above all, they don't get to take away our souls. We are the masters of our own Judaism, not those. Shabbat Shalom. We rise together, Erev Shabbat 586.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of B.L. Punch Ahrens, Mervyn Barstein, Rosalind B. Bernheim, Samuel S. Blankstein, Gertrude Lee Weiss, Roger Nathan Bloom, James Max Bremen, Nell Williams Bressler, Bennett Cherner, Mayor I. Klatt, Minerva S. Darlimple, Howard Mark Davis, Janet Dorsky, Sylvia Dorsky, Lon David Fleur, Sarah Freeman Fogel, Bessie Froman, Joan Marcus Gilbert, Leon Gottschall II, Mervyn Jerome Goldstein, Louis Goodman, Mary Richmond Green, David Greenberg, James Helsberg, Rosen Helsberg, Barbara Stryker Herman, Edward L. Cantor, Harry J. Kuhn, Norm Levinson, Nathan Lewis, Faye Lewitt, Kaki Colette Mendel, Celia Nunman, Mo Perlman, Babs Perlman, Luis Pernilla, Bernard Pivo, Luna Pija, Myra Edith Rathmel, Alice A. Rosen, Joseph Rosenthal, Howard Henson Sisson, Mary Solomon, Myron J. Sturman, Max Stern Sr., Minnie C. Wald, and Leonard Waldheimer Jr., and our heartfelt condolences to those who passed away in this Shoshim these 30 days. Mary Lynn Bates, Lydia Cutler, Jerry Leader, and Joel Rotenstreich. May all their memories forever be a blessing. If it is your custom to rise for a Mortis Kaddish, we invite you to do so on page 598. Yikadal v'yikadah shemei rabbah, b'yomad yivrach hirotei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, Bagala Uizman Kari V'Yumru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivarach Le'olam Alamel Maya. Yiparach V'hi Shabach Hipa'ar Hit Romam Hit Naseh. Vita Dar Vita La Vita Lal. Shmei Rekutsha. Le'ela Minkol Birchata V'Shirata. Tushbechata V'Nechamata. Damin Ram Yomam V'Yumru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chaim Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael V'Yimru. Osei Shalom B'Imromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael V'Yimru. Amen.
Osei Shalom B'Imromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael El V'Yimeru. Amen.
We conclude with our Tikva 678.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hazak Baruch, Monica.